Well, welcome back to Nightly Nonsense. Took a night or two off, and we're back at it. Frequently when I get ready to do Nightly Nonsense, trying to figure out exactly what to do with it. Right? Do other Bible studies. There's a lot of Bible studies on Drash Ministries. People talking about about the Bible, and certainly that's what we are. That's what we're about. So, do we need another one? Do we need another study, another thing? And repeatedly, God just keeps bringing to mind, talk about the things that are on your heart, right? Talk about the things that you're watching. And there's a lot of nonsense out there. That's kind of how this came about. It was just looking around during the season that we were in when we started it, and just thinking, man, this is just crazy. And we're seeing that same thing. It's not manifested in a pandemic, right, of sickness, but it's manifested in a pandemic of attitudes and thought processes and actions. And it led me to one of the things that I've said for years and years and years and years, right, is that the health, the well-being, the prosperity of being a Christian is really dependent upon a very simple process. I want to challenge you again with that process tonight. Probably should bring it up, every week, once during the week, right? But there's a process out there that really, it sounds like this. Different people use it in different ways, but really where your focus is, right? Where your focus is going to be what develops your attitudes. So your focus develops your attitudes, and your attitudes lead to actions, right? It's a very simple process, and it's just simple truth, right? That whatever I choose to focus on is going to develop attitudes and thought processes within me, and it's going to lead to some kind of an action. It happens all the time. It's funny. When I know that somebody loves me, when I'm focused on the fact that my mom loves me, it doesn't matter, right? If I sit down to a meal on a Sunday and she makes something that I don't like, right? My focus isn't on my mean mom. She always makes me things that I don't like. And then eventually, I start developing this attitude of my mom really doesn't like me. And then all of a sudden I start talking to her about that, right? And causing problems. My focus on that moment is, guess what? My mom cooks dinner every Sunday for, anywhere between, 6 and 15 people, right? She's not always going to make what I like. Otherwise, she's not going to make what they like, and somebody else is going to struggle with the same thing. So my focus is on my mom's cooking for 15 people. That's a hard job. That's a hard thing to do every Sunday. So I, right, am focused on the fact that I'm just glad that my mom loves me. Then the attitude within me is, I know my mom loves me. She makes me pudding cups and Swiss steak all the time. I know she loves me. Then the words that come out, the actions that come out are good. Right? I eat other stuff. I don't eat whatever, cabbage or something that I don't like. Right? So our focus is important. But when I'm out and about and I'm at the store, right? And my focus is on how dumb all these people are around me and how much I don't like them, right? I'm going to have a problem, because when somebody runs into my cart, my focus is on why do they have to be such an idiot? Why do they have to be so dumb? My attitude, the attitude within me has already been developing a thought process of I'm surrounded by people who are just dumb. They don't care about me. They don't like me. They're not thinking about me and all these things. So then eventually a situation happens where what happens? My actions, my words come out and I tell somebody off. Right? Words don't happen accidentally. They happen because I've been thinking this way for a while. Right? I love it when you get into an argument with somebody and all of a sudden they just throw up all over you this whole plethora of stuff that they've been feeling for a long time. Why? Because they've been thinking about it for a long time. Right? They can go back and say, you did this way back here. Right? Why? How can they do that? Because their whole thought process is, you let me down here, and I've been thinking about it ever since. And so I've been developing attitudes. Maybe they don't like me the way that I think they like me. Maybe they are doing this, right? Let me finish by this. The enemy loves this process because he'll plant the seed. He'll get you focused over here because he knows what it's going to lead to. He knows the harvest that he's going to get, right? So something happens. We develop attitudes about that because we're thinking, our focus is on, wait, that's very weird that that person treated me this way. Then we start developing this attitude of, why did they treat me this way? How come? What? We start thinking about things, and then eventually we treat them poorly. So my challenge for you tonight is really simple. What are you focusing in? Can you control your focus? Because in any given moment, if you can control your focus, you're going to be okay. But when you let the enemy get a hold of your focus, right? When you get a hold of your focus and you start moving it over here and you're not focusing on what is godly, what is good, what is pure, the Bible tells us, then your attitudes and your actions are going to follow. So if you're having attitudes and actions that you don't want, right? Then what might you be focusing on? So I want you to chew on that tonight for a little bit. We're going to come back tomorrow night and we'll talk about this again in a little different direction. But what are you focusing on? How's it affecting your attitudes and your actions? See you next time. Nightly Nonsense.